Hello there and welcome to this week's edition of Creative Critique. My newly released cinematic film of the week, which I saw, is the new film from director Guy Ritchie, which is an adaptation of the 60s TV series, The Man From U.N.C.L.E. I didn't really know much about the series itself, other than it was about two spies, one American, one Russian, working together to solve problems of interest to both Russia and American governments. And so, other than that little sort of snippet, didn't know anything about it, so I've gone into this sort of film quite fresh-faced, not particularly any major expectations, and, well, it's alright. There's my critique there for you, that's it. It's time to finish it up. No, of course I'll go into a bit more. Yes, it's just kind of, it's alright. Some of the action set pieces are has that Guy Ritchie touch to them. Quite reminiscent of Sherlock Holmes' Game of Shadows, particularly the way the camera work works. And yeah, I'll name some of the players in the film. Henry Cavill, of course we all know, is Superman, plays the American spy Napoleon Solo. I know, yeah, what a name. And Armie Hammer plays the Russian spy. Now, is it Ilya Kurikov? I probably got that wrong, but never mind. He plays a Russian spy. They were at first adversaries, and they then become partners a little bit into the film. So, yeah, the film's under 2 hours, so it's not overstaying its welcome, but I must admit, while I was watching it, I did feel a little bit, I do hate to criticise films, I really do hate criticising films, but I just felt a little bit bored, and it's not that all of the film is badly done, it's just that, I don't know, maybe I've become so accustomed to a particular type of filmmaking that this sort of style, which is really reminiscent of sort of late 60s caper sort of films. And because obviously it's a film made from a TV series of that time, it's understandable to a point why you can see that. And you know what? I'll give credit to Guy Ritchie for trying to recreate that sort of atmosphere and that sort of feel. But whether that sort of style can work in this day and age, judging by this film, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. It's a very delicate combination of light thrills and not quite offensive humour, but sort of, it's innuendo, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah, and it just feels a little bit strange. I can't really put my finger on it more than that. It just feels a bit strange and a bit not out of touch. It's not out of touch. It's just a different feel to the film, and like I say, maybe it's because I've not watched many of those sort of films, and maybe by proxy, there's a reason why I've not this sort of thing, because maybe I just don't quite like the feel and the style of them. Yeah, I'm talking myself a blind alley here, aren't I? But yeah, hey, they do a decent enough job. There is little bits of humour in there, which are quite good. Some of it's kind of it's okay. Yeah, that wasn't that too funny. There's only really sort of like probably about 3 sort of set pieces, and they are really well done. I will admit they're really well done. But the problem is it's a plot kind of we've seen many times before, and probably the angle that should be working most in its favour is the combination between the two opposing spies. So it's an odd couple film, if you will, and it has its moments, but it's just not completely satisfactory to my taste, I think. So, by the looks of it, it's a film that sort of certainly has the ambitions of being a franchise. Looking at the sort of money it's made in it's now been out it's been up 2.5 weeks. It's just about made its budget back, I believe. I think it's fair to say they'll obviously earn a bit more, but I'd be very surprised if this is the sort of film that is going to warrant a sequel from Warner Brothers. Because, like I say, I think anybody who's going, if it was going to be a hit, it would have been a hit. It's come out at around a time when there's not too many. I mean, this is a time at the moment where Fantastic Four is the only big, massive release in terms of a studio, what would be considered a blockbuster pick, and it's not performed too greatly, has it? I think Straight Outta Compton is the one that's surprising many at the moment regarding its audience and how much money it's making. So maybe that's dented it, and that film maybe feels more of the time, and this one's one of the past, maybe. But yeah, so it's not going to do you any harm, the film, at all. But you're probably not going to get too much out of it either. I could say maybe if you were like enjoy those sort of caper films of the 60s, maybe you will certainly get a lot more out of it than I did. But I myself found it satisfactory. Nothing more. It's completely 3-star film. When I say 3-star, 3 out of 5-star films, I mean. Because it's not doing anything particularly wrong, or I say particularly wrong, it's just not... It's not bad filmmaking, it's just maybe a... Yeah. I'm really lost myself there in that sort of little review, haven't I? But yeah, so, The Man From U.N.C.L.E. Not to my particular taste. I enjoy parts of it, but it's certainly not one I personally would recommend, and it's not one I would buy certainly on DVD or anything like that. So that's usually the level of knowledge that you'll get from me. So yeah, The Man From U.N.C.L.E, my theatrical release film of the week. It's a little bit of a lean week, that was. I think that's why I went to see it. Because it was the best of a limited choice. So my classic film, now I say classic film. This is a film that has genuinely divided opinion amongst critics. I really like it. I think it's a really interesting idea, and I think it's a really interesting film, therefore, and has really interesting styles. The film itself is, well, it's probably considered more of a cult film, having said what I've just said. And the film itself is Cube. It's a it's not to say, I will say it's a very small film. It was a very small film. It was released on a budget of about $350,000, I believe it was. It's a Canadian film, and it's directed by, oh bloody hell, I should have done this before. Sorry about this. It's directed by Vincenzo Natali, who has made sort of other films in sort of the horror genre. We'll say horror genre. Interesting horror genre. And Cube, the premise of Cube is what you first witness in the film is a character who appears to be in some sort of maze of rooms, going from side to side to up and down. This character goes into a room. A loud noise is heard, and all of a sudden, he starts to fall away from himself. And when I say fall away from himself, something has effectively cut him up. Some sort of big mechanical trap. And that is your opening to the film. You then come across 5 characters, is it? Is it 5 characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 characters, principal characters, who have all woken up in different rooms and come across each other in one in particular. And what is going on is that they all find out about each other, what they do, what sort of professions or what sort of skills they have, and it appears they have all been put in this sort of cube maze of rooms with possible, for a reason, maybe. We don't really know. That's the thing. So yeah, and it's them sort of trying to figure out why they're in this maze and how they can get out, of course. Like I said, like I said at the beginning, in one of these rooms was a trap, but that is what appears to be in every room. There appears to be many, many traps triggered, set up in these rooms, and with different ways of being able to kill you. So, yes, it's a fabulous idea, and its design is fantastic, and it is. I can understand a completely wide divided opinion because it's been on such a small budget. There's not really any name actors in it. Obviously, being at that time, the Canadian film industry was not anything of note, anything major anyway. So you've principally got quite a few TV actors. Well, when I say TV actors, I mean people who have appeared in quite prominent shows, particularly David Hewlett, and also yeah. So some of the acting is good, some of the acting is a bit off key sometimes, but some of the discussions they have and the way they go about finding out things about each other is really interesting. And like I say, the design of the cube maze itself is fantastic. It is. I think it's really, really interesting to look at. I can completely understand why many people are a bit iffy about it, though. Like I say, for those reasons I just said. But I personally feel the idea behind it and the design are the reasons why this sort of film should get many a look in. And personally, see, this is interesting. Is it classed as a horror film? This is an interesting discussion because it suffered. Oh, sorry, no, I will carry on with that sort of point I was just about to make. Is it a horror film? In part, yes, because there's some incredible body horror going on. But there's also a level of paranoia and things like that, so it's quite. In particular, when you go through one room, it's so suspenseful. You are on your edge of your seats. It is fantastic. So there's obviously them all being paranoid about each other, whether if there's actually somebody on here who knows more than they are letting on and things like that. So that's a very good angle to witness. And yeah, I just think it's a truly, truly interesting film. It is complete. This is a perfect sort of late night film to witness because it is a complete B movie, isn't it? It's a complete B movie. The idea of it, sort of no name actors. Now usually you class a B movies with not great special effects, but particularly the opening scene with that guy who dies, I think the effects for the time as well, and considering this is late 90s and it's not a major studio, I think the effects are fantastic. I think they are really good. So, positive there as well. So yeah, nice little gem. I think it's a nice little gem of a film, and I think it's definitely worth a watch. So yeah, Cube. That's my say classic film of the week, or should I say cult film of the week? Yeah, really, really interesting it is. So that was my classic or cult film of the week, if you will. And my theatrical release film of the week was The Man From U.N.C.L.E. There we go. What more can I offer you this week? Not much. Next week I will be looking at a certain film I've mentioned just earlier in this video, which is Straight Outta Compton, which I was very much anticipating to see. So that is going to be my film next week. Thank you again for watching. If you have, I'd love it if you could subscribe to me, and I do hope to see and speak to you next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.